In 2022, I was waiting to buy Bitcoin at $12,000. I had a number and I was certain it was coming. It bottomed at $15,500 instead, never touched my price, and then ran to about $126,000 without me. Roughly 8 times my money I would have had. Off a low I sat and watched go past. I didn't buy back in until it had already more than doubled the bottom. I wasn't being reckless, I was being careful. That is what careful cost me. That was crypto, but the feeling has nothing to do with crypto. The market hits an all-time high and something in you flinches. That little voice that says this is too good to keep going. A drop has to be next. Wait for it, then buy in. So here's the answer up front before anything else. A record high is not a warning sign. One study pulled the data on 10 stock markets across more than 5 decades, and the months that felt the most dangerous were more often followed by another record than by the drop everyone was waiting for. Records cluster. That's the finding. It's not mine, and you can go check it yourself. That's the easy half. Here's the part that actually cost people money. The flinch you just felt is one of the oldest, most well-known glitches in human decision-making, and knowing the data doesn't switch it off. Mine didn't. Acting on that feeling makes you pay at 2 separate doors, and almost nobody explains the second one. You've probably lived this exact moment. Money sitting in a savings that you know should be invested. Maybe you've already picked the boring diversified fund. Maybe you're still working up to your first buy. Either way, you open the app, see a chart at the top of its range and a headline calling it a record, and you close the app. Not because you're reckless, the opposite, because you're careful. And buying at the top feels like the least careful thing you could do. Nobody taught you that fear. You absorbed it from headlines that treat every record like a cliff edge, and from a mental shortcut your brain runs automatically without asking you first. So this isn't a discipline problem, and it isn't a you problem. Your brain was built for a world that moved a lot slower than this one. The wiring is ancient. The app in your hand is 10 years old, and the two were never designed to work together. This channel exists to catch exactly these moments, the ones where a feeling quietly makes your money decisions for you. So here's its proper name. The Overdue Illusion. Psychologists call the wiring the gambler's fallacy. Flip a fair coin 5 times, get 5 heads, and nearly everyone feels tails is due. It isn't. The coin doesn't remember. Each flip is a fresh 50-50, no matter what came before. I've lost real money to this. A roulette wheel lands on red 5 times in a row, and black starts to feel overdue. So you put your money on black. Then it lands red 5 more times, and you are down a lot further than you ever planned to be. The wheel was never keeping score, you were. Take that same feeling and point it at a stock chart, and you get what this video calls the overdue illusion. The belief that a long run of gains makes a fall more likely. That the market has used up its luck. It feels like wisdom, it isn't. But here's the difference the illusion misses. A coin has no reason to land anywhere. Markets have a reason to drift upward. They're built on economies that grow, companies that compound earnings, and dividends that get reinvested. Some of it is simply inflation because prices climb over the years and that number climbs with them. A streak in a coin is luck. In a market, a streak is partly the engine doing what it was built to do. But hold on, if records are just the engine working, why do they feel so rare? Because the number in the headline is hiding something. When the news says the market hit a record, the number they're quoting is an index level. That's one number standing in for a big basket of companies, so you can see how the whole market did without checking every stock inside it. And that number counts one thing only, prices. It leaves out dividends, the cash those companies pay you just for holding them. Your money doesn't work that way. A dividend landing in your account is money in your pocket, exactly the same as the share price going up is money in your pocket. Count both, the way your account already counts them, and the market sits at a genuine all-time high far more often than the headline number suggests. In that 10 market dataset, monthly numbers from 1970 onwards, a total return all-time high showed up in roughly 1 out of every 5 months on average. In the biggest market, the US, it was closer to 1 in 3. In Canada, about 1 in 4. That is several times a year, every year. Not a once-a-decade cliff edge, a regular Tuesday. So the moment that feels rare is common, but the overdue illusion makes a second prediction, that whatever just went up must be about to come down. And that's where the data gets blunt. There's no gravity in a market. Nothing pulls a price back down just because it spent a while going up. Across those 10 markets, all-time highs were more often followed by further all-time highs than by drops. Returns in the first, third, and fifth years after a record were similar to and often better than returns from an average starting month. The intuition says a high is a peak. The record says a high is usually a step. Think of a kid's height chart on a door frame. Every new mark is an all-time high, and nobody looks at it and panics that shrinking must be next. A new tallest of ever marker is just what growing looks like. Now, I know what you're thinking. The market was at an all-time high right before 2008. and right before the dot-com crash before that. That's true. Almost every crash in history started somewhere near a record, because records are where markets spend so much of their time. But flip it around. The overwhelming majority of records were followed by nothing scary at all. A signal that fires at every single record isn't a signal, it's just background noise. Some highs do come before crashes, and nobody can tell you which ones in advance. That's not the overdue illusion being right. That's ordinary uncertainty, the permanent price of investing at any level, high or not. There is one real question hiding near this one, so don't dodge it. High and expensive are not the same thing. High is just the size of the number. Expensive is what you're paying for every dollar the companies underneath it actually earn. The number on its own tells you almost nothing. Put today's market next to the market 50 years ago, and today's looks absurd. But so are the earnings underneath it. Bigger number, bigger business. That comparison was never the warning it looks like. Expensive is the better question, and it does say something about the decade ahead, but it's far too blurry to time anything with, and the researchers who study it say so themselves. So high was never the danger, and expensive can't tell you when. So if the level can't warn you and valuation can't time it, what exactly is waiting for the dip supposed to achieve? That's the last mechanism, and it's the expensive one. To beat the person who just stayed invested, the person waiting for a dip has to win two separate bets. First, that a dip is coming before the market runs further up. Second, that they'll actually buy when it arrives, which means calling the bottom while it's happening, with no way of knowing whether it is the bottom. And the second bet is the one almost everyone loses, because a dip never feels like a discount when it finally comes. It feels like a crisis. That same voice that said too high to buy at the record says too dangerous to buy at the bottom. Here's the half of my story left out. Missing that bottom was only the first door. I had a target for the top two, 110,000 to 120,000. Worked out years ahead of time. And I got it roughly right. It topped near 126,000. I still didn't sell because I was holding out for one more move that never came. I moved my goalpost, and I wrote a lot of it back down. Right at one door, wrong at the other door, and being right at one door turned out to be worth nothing on its own. And staying invested isn't painless. You'll sit through drops, and some of them will be ugly, but you only need to be right about one thing. The markets, over decades, keep doing what they've been doing across 56 years of data. Wait for the dip, and you need to be right twice, with the overdue illusion whispering the wrong answer at both doors. And beating your own wiring twice is a lot to ask, which is why the real win is smaller and better. You started as someone with a bad feeling about the market. You're leaving as someone who can name that feeling. And a named feeling loses most of its power. The flinch will still show up at the next record headline. The overdue illusion doesn't uninstall. But there's a difference between wiring that runs without you ever noticing and wiring you understand well enough to answer. You can watch it fire, you can name it, you can let it pass. That skill isn't just an investing skill. Every streak, every record, every surely this can't continue in your life runs through the same faulty circuit. Now you know what it's called, and you know which direction it usually points, backwards. The coin doesn't remember, the market doesn't owe anyone a crash, and a new high was never a warning. It's what a market that's working looks like. So, the next time the market hits a record and that voice pipes up, you'll know exactly what's actually speaking. Not insight, wiring. The next video looks at the other end of the timeline. You spend years putting money in, and one day it has to start coming out. And there's a number almost everyone trusts to make that safe. Two people can follow it identically, earn the same average return, and end up with completely different retirements. Which one you turn out to be is barely about the returns at all. The order they arrive in can matter more than the returns themselves, and it comes down to a mechanism almost nobody explains. That is the vantage point. Most people never stop long enough to see it. Drop a comment with the headline that last made you hesitate to invest. If this shifted something, a like helps it reach someone else who needs to watch this. Subscribe for the next framework. The next video is already worth your time.